Hi, Church. Pastor Jeff here with another Trinity check-in. We are solidly into the season of Lent now, and I want to talk about Bible translations. Nothing, I think, makes a bigger difference in how you interact with the faith than how you read the Bible. And since we're doing a church-wide read-through of Matthew right now, it's a good time to make sure that we're all up to speed and have the best translation for us. So, this is the season of Lent, the holiest season of the year, maybe second to Easter. However, it's the season where we double down on our faith and hope for a season of growth. And one thing that we're doing as a church at Trinity this year is reading through the Gospel of Matthew together. So we have these bookmarks, and they have the readings on them for each day, and you can follow along. And you know when you read them, you'll be reading the same scripture as everyone else at Trinity that day. Like, honestly, that alone is something, just knowing we're doing it together as a church family. But then, as the Sundays come around, I'm going to pick something, just before or after that Sunday, as we've read together, something that might need a little extra context or that could use a little explanation. I suppose just about every passage could be preached on, but you know what I mean. And I think it will help enrich and deepen our journeys. By the way, we do have the bookmarks, but we're also sending out emails now. Amy Holland in the office is putting them together. They look like this, so if you'd rather get your daily readings by email, you'll find a link in the email that this video comes out in, or you can find it on our webpage and in all the usual places, and we'll get you signed up for that. Honestly, it's easier than the bookmark. So, on to translation, though, because if you've ever tried to read the King James Version of the Bible, you know that while there is great beauty to the translation, and while some bits of poetry in the Bible, the King James Version is awfully hard to beat, like the 23rd Psalm, for instance. Words change their meaning over time, and the King James Version is, 300 years old? Something like that. And there are a good number of parts of the Bible that read completely differently now, and whose meaning you will miss if you use that for a translation. So it's a good one to dip into from time to time, especially for poetry, but maybe not the best for an ongoing basis if you really want to absorb the words of Jesus. There is a translation that is from the, I believe it started in the 60s, but it was actually updated only a few years ago, called the New Revised Standard Version. And it does everything it can to stay as close as possible to the Greek and the Hebrew, which are the original languages of the Bible. By the way, any English translation is going to be imperfect for that. But NRSV tries to stay as close as it can to the original. It's what seminaries use for textbooks in Bible class. I know it was for me. And if you are one who wants to enter in and to study on a deep level like that, that's the way to go. I'm going to recommend a couple of specific study Bibles to you here too. I'm going to have some online recommendations in a minute. But as far as study Bibles go, this one is the New Interpreter's Study Bible with the NRSV. That's a good one that has notes that are on each page toward the bottom. You can see I'm trying to do this with upside down. You can see there's a line and then notes to help explain things. They won't answer all of your questions, but they can help you to go deeper. Another good NRSV one that you can get. Oh no, that's Common English. Okay, I'll get to that one in a minute. So NRSV is good if you want to stay as close as possible. However, what I recommend to most people is the Common English Bible. Now, I'll tell you why. So the NRSV was done by a committee of people. What they do is each person on the committee takes the lead on translating one of the books, but then they vote as a committee on anything that might need updated, and it really does produce good translations that way. And the NRSV has been the standard for quite a long time. However, have you ever had a computer program, like I think Microsoft Word will do it, where you can have it analyze what you've written and tell you what grade level the reading is? So in other words, like, are you writing at a high school level? Are you writing at a college level? Or would it be best understood by somebody with a college degree, if you use a lot of big words and complicated grammar? Well, somebody put the NRSV into one of those algorithms and discovered that the reading level of it is way higher than the average reading level of most Americans. Now that's kind of a problem, isn't it? Because we want the Bible to be understandable. We want it to be readable. So the same committee that did the NRSV got together and said, let's continue to try to stay as close as we can to the Greek and the Hebrew, but bring that down to make it easier to understand. Now, I know many of you have college degrees. I think everybody watching this can handle the NRSV. However, you want it to be absorbable. You want to be able to understand and grasp what's being said with the least amount of resistance possible. And I'll tell you what I've discovered is that the Common English Bible doesn't dumb it down in the slightest. What it does is remove the resistance. What it does is remove the barriers. And while still staying close to the Greek and Hebrew, lets you understand what's said in the Bible in a much easier way. And so the CEB, as it's often known, is what I have us use in worship almost all of the time. Every now and then I choose a different translation. But we use it because, you read a scripture in worship, you only have one shot to hear it. So you want that resistance to be as little as possible. And so that's what I recommend to most people. Now, this one here is the CEB Study Bible. So kind of like the one I showed you a minute ago. It has notes on every page, pictures at times. You can see some of the notes at the bottom. And I will tell you, this is a beautifully done Bible, not only the translation, but the notes too. So if you're looking to get a good Bible, if you're looking to get a new one that's easier to understand than what you've used in the past, I highly recommend the CEB Study Bible. If you want another good one, I have the leather one here that was a gift, but it's the Wesley Study Bible, and this is also a CEB Bible. However, the notes at the bottom have a distinctly John Wesley and United Methodist shift to them to help you know our tradition and how we engage a scripture that's at hand. Honestly, I think as long as you have a CEB Bible of any sort, it will serve you well as you try to read through the Gospel of Matthew or whatever it may be. Now, I have these Bibles here, but the truth is I hardly ever touch them. And it's not because I don't read it. It's not because I'm a pastor, right? I have to prepare sermons. Most of the time, I use digital versions. So let me show you what I do most of the time. I use an app called Bible Study by Olive Tree, and I am going to date myself here. I've actually been using it since I had a Palm Pilot. I was, 3 years old? I don't know. But I've had this app for a long time, and I've collected a lot of resources. A lot of the seminary type resources that I use are in here too. However, you don't have to be a seminary grad to use it. Anybody can download the Olive Tree Bible app. Now, I will say you do have to pay for a New Revised Standard or the Common English Bible if you use it. However, it's a good way to interact. It's good for searching. And I showed you the CEB Study Bible, right? Well, you can do that in the app just as well. You can put it on the left side and right side of the screen, or if you do it on your phone, it's top and bottom, and it lets you access those same notes, and you can jump around and use it quite well. If you want something that's free, there's another version called the U version in the App Store. Now, I will admit that some of the resources that they have in there lean on the conservative and evangelical side, and I have some problems with. However, it does have Common English Bible and the updated NRSV for free that you can use. There's also a website called Bible Gateway that is similar, that has them in there that you can access for free, and it's a good way. So, however you access it, what matters is to remove the barriers, to make it as easy as possible to enter into it, so that you'll actually do it. Right? That's why I think I like the emails that we've been sending out. Is when we first started doing the daily readings, I taped this to the side of my monitor. But as soon as we started doing the emails, I realized that was a way easier way to do it. Now, thanks to Amy, this just comes to my inbox every day, and I read it. I read it a lot earlier in the day and with a lot less resistance, and I find I enjoy it more and get more from it too. However you do it, I hope that you will at least do it. Now, if you're late, if you haven't started the readings yet, it's not too late to catch up. What are we on? Chapter 5 now. We're just getting into the Sermon on the Mount. That's what this Sunday's sermon is going to be on as well. So you could start at the beginning and catch up, but you know what? Being a 100% completionist isn't the goal here. What matters is that you engage it. So if you fall behind, just join back in wherever you are, and blessing will come from it. I assure you of that if you look hard enough. All right. I hope that you are having a good Lent. I hope that whatever you're doing, whether it's the Gospel of Matthew read along, or if you're giving up chocolate or whatever it may happen to be, or a social media fast I suggested in a sermon, whatever you're doing, I hope that you are finding it beneficial. I say finding it beneficial. Sometimes the things we do aren't beneficial right away. Sometimes they drive us a little crazy at first, and we only realize the benefit later on. So whether you see the benefit now or whether it's driving you crazy right now, I hope that you have faith, and I hope that you keep on the journey, and I hope that you find that kind of growth, because that's what Lent is all about. This Sunday, we'll be doing a Sermon on the Mount, so be sure to be here for that. It should be a good sermon. It's some of the richest material of Jesus's teaching material anyway. And if you would like the emails, don't forget to check the link in the email, and you can sign up for that and get those scripture readings every day. I will see you soon, church, and please know that I am praying for you this Lent too.